Welcome to the rundown of the ongoings in the #1 talked about trial of this year. This case is taking place in the New York City Federal Courthouse. If you want to stay up to date in the most anticipated and shocking trial of the year, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you don't miss an episode. Now, without further ado, let's dive into day 1. Monday, May 12, 2025. The morning begins with a heavy media presence outside the Southern District Court of New York. Helicopters buzz overhead, camera crews jostle for space, and reporters speak urgently into microphones. But inside the courtroom, a tense silence reigns. The crowd hushes as the bailiff announces, "All rise, court is now in session." Moments later, Sean "Diddy" Combs enters the courtroom flanked by his high-powered legal team. Dressed in a subdued gray suit and wearing a stern expression, the hip-hop mogul, once celebrated for his lavish lifestyle and groundbreaking influence in the music industry, now sits quietly as the eyes of the world watch his every move. Combs offers a brief nod to his family seated behind the defense table. His mother, Janice, stoic and composed, and his sons, Justin and Christian, seated closely, exchanging glances filled with uncertainty. Opening statements. Prosecutor Maureen Comey begins with a striking assertion. This case is not about celebrity. This case is about control, coercion, and criminal exploitation cloaked in the glittering veneer of fame. What you are about to hear will shock you. It will disturb you. But it is the truth. And the truth demands accountability. She paints a picture of a criminal enterprise orchestrated by Combs, describing how he allegedly used his wealth and influence to manipulate, silence, and exploit victims. The prosecution reveals that jurors will view hotel surveillance footage from 2016, an alleged beating of ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. Next, defense attorney Tini Garagos opens with a calm but firm rebuttal. Yes, Mr. Combs has lived a life in the spotlight. Yes, he's had relationships that were complicated. But the government is trying to take salacious details and present them as crimes. These were consensual relationships. Adults making adult choices. She insists the accusers are motivated by fame and money, not justice. Day 2 to 5. Testimonies from Cassie Ventura and key witnesses. Cassandra. Cassie Ventura takes the stand. 8 months pregnant, Ventura walks into court. Her voice steady, she tells the jury about her 11-year relationship with Combs, describing it as a life ruled by fear, control, and coercion. She recounts how their relationship started when she was a young, aspiring singer signed to Combs's label. What began as mentorship turned into a deeply toxic partnership. He told me I was special, that he'd make me a star. But before long, it became clear that love and opportunity came with conditions. She speaks about the freak-offs, exclusive parties fueled by drugs, where she was allegedly forced to engage in sex acts with strangers, while Combs watched and recorded. She says these acts were never truly consensual. He would say, "If you ever leave, I'll make sure no one ever sees you the same." I was always scared he'd leak the videos. She also describes psychological abuse, curfews, forced hairstyles, restrictions on who she could speak to, and even tracking her location through phone monitoring. Her most emotional moment comes when describing the 2016 hotel assault, footage of which is later shown in court. The video reportedly captures Combs shoving and slapping her in a hallway. Cross-examination? Garagos challenges her consistency. You traveled with him. You posted happy pictures. Why stay for 11 years if he was the monster you claim he was? Cassie responds, "Because I was scared. Because he controlled every part of my life." That's how abuse works. Other witnesses. George Kaplan, Combs's former assistant, supports Cassie's claims. "My job was to clean up after the freak-offs. I had to make sure no one ever found out what really happened in those rooms." He describes scenes involving sex paraphernalia, drugs, and surveillance equipment. He also testifies that Combs routinely used aliases to book hotel rooms and ordered employees to never speak to guests or ask questions. Evidence presented, days 3 to 5. Homeland Security Agent Gerard Gannon testifies about the March 2024 raid on Combs' Miami estate. What agents discovered was described in court as disturbing. Hidden rooms accessible by biometric lock. Suitcases filled with MDMA, cocaine, and nitrous oxide. Journals with entries describing fear, blackmail, and drug-fueled coercion. A library of encrypted hard drives labeled with names and dates, allegedly documenting sexual encounters. One entry, believed to be from Cassie, read, "He told me if I left, he'd leak everything. The videos, the photos, even my texts. I can't trust anyone. Everyone here works for him." Jurors reportedly looked visibly disturbed when a blurred clip of one recording was played. Defense strategy. Tini Geragos attacks the prosecution on multiple fronts. Consent framing. These weren't victims, they were willing participants in a wild lifestyle. Disturbing? Sure. Criminal? She argues that Combs's personal life has been exaggerated by people looking to settle scores or cash in. Credibility attacks. The defense claims witnesses like Kaplan have grudges and financial motivations. They question the authenticity of the journal entries and accuse Cassie of trying to revive a settled civil case. Chain of custody. Geragos scrutinizes how the FBI handled digital evidence, suggesting that critical files might have been tampered with or selectively edited. Courtroom atmosphere. Tension thickens by the day. Jurors avoid eye contact during the most graphic moments. Combs remains calm, speaking only with his lawyers. His mother and sons attend daily, seated quietly in the gallery. Security is tight, and every break is met with press flashbulbs and chants from protesters outside. Media frenzy and public reaction. The trial has dominated global headlines. Hashtags like #JusticeForCassie and #DiddyTrial trend daily. TikTokers and YouTubers dissect testimony in real time. Some celebrities offer vocal criticism of Combs. Others remain silent. The entertainment industry begins to distance itself. Brands, music partners, and festivals freeze their associations with him. Legal expert commentary. Former prosecutor Eli Honig says, "They've built a compelling RICO case. It's not just salacious, it's systemic. And that's exactly what the law was written to address." Attorney Lisa Bloom adds, "Consent under duress, surveillance, and threats of exposure? That's not freedom. That's entrapment." On the other hand, criminal defense attorney Mark Geragos says, "The prosecution is throwing everything at the wall. The real test is whether the jury believes these disturbing acts were criminal or just consensual but morally questionable behavior." Psychological analysis. Coercive control experts point to a pattern of coercive control, a type of abuse that's emotional, psychological, and manipulative. Clinical psychologist Dr. Stacey Allen explains, "It's not always about bruises. It's about control, surveillance, emotional submission." That's what Cassie is describing, and it's very real. End of week 1, where things stand. The prosecution has delivered. 4 days of powerful testimony from Cassie Ventura, physical evidence from Combs' mansion, surveillance video and journal entries, eyewitness support from George Kaplan. The defense has countered with consent arguments, motive-based credibility attacks, chain of custody concerns, media overexposure claims. What's next? In week 2, we expect more accusers and former staff to testify, a digital forensics expert to authenticate files, potential introduction of Combs' alleged black book, surprise witnesses from within the entertainment industry. So what happens now? This trial is about more than one man. It's about power. It's about consent. It's about how the justice system treats celebrity when the curtain is finally pulled back. Week 1 has shocked the public, and it's only the beginning. Make sure to subscribe for recaps, legal insights, and full breakdowns of every development in this case. Stay informed, stay critical, and stay tuned. Remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any further updates in the shocking Diddy trial. As always, thank you for listening and see you soon.